a light that tells me it's on? Yeah, there is. Okay. And how do I know if this is on? Alright, I'm just gonna assume it is for the next, however many minutes. So it is, what time is it? It's 12 o'clock. It is officially the 1st of February. And I am going to make a design video, so I'm not going to talk too loudly. So what is the project, right? So what I want to do is design what is effectively a scissor lift, right? So if you imagine my lift like this, where I have one point that's at a mounted, and then the other one can come in and go as it pleases, so that it just allows me to have like a managed lift, right? And I can just completely manage it off the arc of the non freely moving one, the bound point. I can manage it off that, and then at the top of that light or contraption, I'm going to put a lamp. I have an IKEA lamp. That's what I'm using to light the back of my setting, but it doesn't go up that high. I don't really like the light that provides. It's too blue. It's really cold. I mean, the light from my laptops or my desktop's also really cold, but excuse me. The goal here is just to create a contraption that can hold that. So I'm going to open up Illustrator, and then I guess I'll kind of talk while I design. That's what we gotta do. So I also don't know what parts of the video are gonna get cut out and which ones aren't. That's okay. Maybe I'll just upload it as one freeform video. Hey, the lighting looks pretty good when I'm not all like funked out. Nice. Alright, new document. Just give us some space. Let's put it on a 24 by 48 piece. Or no, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a whole bunch of individual documents, each with the main part. And then once we have all those parts and we've thought about that, then I can collate those into a single cut sheet, because I use laser cutting to fabricate. So you'll see how I'll design these individual parts in the two-dimensional sense. Here, let me fix my camera focus, actually. It's probably better? I don't know. Either way, so let me start recording on my desktop. Now I'm working with a 6-inch by 6-inch pad here. And for the base, I'm going to start with one of the base plates. So let's say I don't want to go too small in the base here. You know what? I'm actually going to edit this artboard and make it a bit wider, if I remember how. You know what? I'll use this for a different piece. I'll just create a new artboard. You know what? Let's just do a foot by foot. You know what? Sounds about right. I want a nice strong base for this piece. So let's go. Let's not freeform it. Let's go 8 inches and 2 inches, because that's what I'm feeling. So the whole size that I'm gonna need is gonna have to be that of a dowel. So, because I need to buy like aluminum dowels that I'm gonna use to like hold those pieces in. I was using wooden dowels, but they're just awful. So let's see, aluminum dowel pins. Can I buy like a box of those? I can. Then I bet you I can get a better price. I just gotta choose a size then. 8-inch by 1/4 inch. Those are small dowels, yeah. I want something that's at least like 1 inch. So let's just assume I'm gonna go with a 1/4 inch dowel. Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. 0.25 inches, 0.25 inches. That'll be each individual dowel. Let's make this, I don't want it to be super curvy, and that's going to be here, right? So let's imagine, here, just for the sake of argument, that's going to be there, right? There. I'm not going to move it. So what I want to do is, because I'm maintaining it at that point, right, I want, whenever I have, let's say this is the line that's created by that point, I want every piece, every point of this raising piece to sit into one of those grooves. So I'm going to create grooves here, and a main track. So let me take my rectangle tool again, and I'll go up, I don't know, just a little bit. It's not going to be, here, let me make it the right shape as well. So it's going to be 0.25 inches tall. Let's give myself 5 inches. Let's do that. Doesn't have to be anything too special. So that would be where it sits on interims, right? But then I think 5 inches is actually a bit too long, but it doesn't matter too much. This is just another document. So then if you imagine, if I put little 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch squares there, they would just be little ditches or trenches that the other piece would fall into, right? Because if I have these two, and they're each mounted by, imagine there's a pin through both of these. So this piece would hold those pins. So on one side it's mounted, you know, and it's just stuck, it's not gonna move. But this other side, because that can rotate and the other body can freely rotate, as this pin starts to move upwards, it's gonna move and squeeze that one upwards. So all I have to do is create like a down setting, right? Which I don't even know where I'd put. I suppose that would just be, I'm just gonna mirror it. So I guess I'll take that and I'll just put that there. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I want to copy it, so I'll copy it. Yep, that makes sense. And I'm just gonna make, I don't know, say another one there. It's a 5 inch piece, so I guess I can do 5. Sure, midpoint, and then we'll do yeah, so that those, let's do that actually. 5 equally spaced pieces. Yeah, and then I'll change this accordingly. I don't really care how wide this has to be. Cool. And this should already be tangent. So what that'll allow me to do is if I take my rectangle tool. Now I don't know if this is the best way to do it. It's the way that I do it. Is I'll draw these little rectangles. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to design it to be laser cut, right? So if I hit Control Y, that shows me all the paths that would get cut, right? And I don't want that all to get cut. Now I could do that artistically, but what I actually have to end up doing is selecting those, choosing this shape tool, and just working those pieces away. And then I think I could also simplify the path, something like that. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Yeah, let me just, that's not what I meant to do. I need to group, object, path, and then I want to join the path. And that should just make it one continuous cut. So if I look, perfect. There's no sporadic anchors. This is level with this. So if you imagine, then when you're, it's kind of like a car gearbox, you know, like when you're shifting gears, if you're driving manual, it's just gonna sit, each like lamp foot, or this rotating lamp foot is just gonna sit, and then it's gonna squeeze up, sit, squeeze up, sit, and then I can just change the height depending on what I need it to do and like how high I need it to go. Now, the main issue I was having, I did build a little model of this, so this isn't the first time I've had like a general design here. So I have to explain this with the screen here. So if you imagine, for argument's sake, if I had, let's just make it a rectangle. Let's take this shape and move this here. So let's say that this is one of my pieces. I'll rotate it, and I'll put it right around there. Let me get rid of its, and then I'll copy that shape, and I will reflect it. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, well, whatever. Let's say it's like this, right? The issue is that, well, for one thing, you'd have a pin, right? But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is then, as I'm approaching down here, right? If I have a middle pin that holds these two pieces together, so imagine that these are at the same angle. I can't really do it just because it's a bit funky. So there's going to be a pin sitting right between these two to guarantee that their motion is together, right? Because if they're not pinned in the middle, what I mean by that is, hold up, I forgot I grouped this path. If you don't have a little circle right there with a pin in it, then the scissor lift is going to be all wonky. It doesn't. Scissor lift only works because you're pinned in the middle, so you can only translate that motion vertically. As soon as that pin isn't there, you can just slide really along any axis, and it's just messy. So that is that. That right now I think is going to be my base plate. I think I'll probably end up using 2 of those. But regarding that issue where I have the pin, as those legs lower, the pin, if you imagine, just put that back in. If I had a pin sitting right here that's coming down with those 2 arms, it might hit here. Reasonably, I can expect it to hit here. So just as a precaution, and I mean that wouldn't be an issue if my pins are perfectly flush, but I don't usually have things that are perfectly flush, and that's just because I guess that's just planning. No, but I'm taking this project seriously, so I'll get some appropriately sized dowels. So I'm just mentioning that, you know, maybe if I'm rewatching this tape, I'll come back before I fabricate and figure all that out. So either way, that's that done. Next part, really simple. How am I going to make my arms? What is this, 5 inches? Well, first of all, it's got to be at least the length. I'm just gonna. Does it have to be at least? I don't really know, honestly. So if I make it at least the length of this thing, when it sits, is it gonna sit funny? I think I can technically make it even longer, right? But then it just means that the base isn't that much of a base then, is it? But yeah, even there, if that's the angle you're sitting at the bottom, you can tell that the pin would dip in, assuming that it's gonna intersect. So what I might end up doing is I can't really explain it right now, but because I'm building, or because I'm designing, let me take out my retainer so I can talk. So because I'm designing individual sheets to get cut out, I can really play with how wide that dimension is as much as I want, and just add in little wooden washers that I cut out, like literally just, I'm just gonna use, here, I'm gonna free ball it and then explain. So let's say I take a width of a height of 1 inch. Actually, it's not necessary at all. And let's just say I'm gonna do 8 inches across. So I know my artboard is not perfectly sized, so I'm just going to fix it. Doesn't really matter because I'm probably going to copy these assets off anyways. So let's just say that I want to use, probably look better if these are perfectly kind of like a popsicle stick. So if I want to, alright, you know what? I'm going to keep that in there. This is what I get for copying Lego Star Wars characters. It's going to be there for now. Jack O'Brien, is that you? Don't worry about it. So this needs to have some weight. So that I'll put one at the center, and then I'll put one, that's kind of annoying. I wanted to put one perfectly around that radius. So I suppose the only way for me to do that is to take a line. There should be an anchor point when the circle starts. Oh, I'm not making a line. There we go. Anchor, anchor. Put that circle, that intersection, and we'll copy that. Put one in the middle. And then I think my smart guide will just tell me, please. No, it won't. All right, whatever. I'll just put this back. Please. All right, I'll just draw a new line. It's not the end of the world. All right. So that's literally all I need. I just need to copy like 8 of those, right? So what my comment was earlier is that if I take, let me just 0.25 by 0.5, I'm just doing that because I'm assuming that's just going to be my dowel size. I know that when I laser cut, the tolerance is going to be a bit off, or at least I'm assuming it's going to be a bit off. So I think in the laser cutting settings, I think I can tell it to have really narrow tolerances, and that the way it does that is it just cuts a bit more towards the outside, because although you think of lasers as being like ultra precise, you do still lose some material, so it'll be a bit loose fitting. Loose fitting isn't necessarily bad, but I'm just worried about the dowel sliding in and out. So I might have to put like dowel caps on each. I mean, that's a good solution. Yeah, I'll probably end up putting dowel like here. So let's do 0.75 by 0.75 because that's the same width as these arms I've just made. And then I'll just group that. Right, so if you imagine I have a washer like this that can sit over that, sit over any of these pieces. And what it'll allow me to do is that I can add some more width to my base, so that, because if you really think about it, right, I'm not going to be sitting here and just using 2 pieces of, you know, probably quarter inch material that are another quarter inch, you know, away from each other. That's not going to support any weight. So I need to make this base at least somewhat square, somewhat rectangular, so that it can take, or at least so that it can like hold some force. So that's the basis of the project. I do think that I'm going to make a cutout right here. I'm just going to add it and just make it large, because I think it'll also help me with building the darn thing. Actually, here, I'll use these anchors. Alright, you know what? Here, if I click here, 0.25, vertical height, does not matter. Let's just call it an inch. Okay, apparently, you know what? Sometimes it does matter. -1 inch. You know, I thought that was like a dimension error. Nope, not a dimension error. Of course it's not a dimension error. Okay, I'm confident with that. Using the same principle, holding Alt while I use my shape builder tool. And now I'm in this position, and I'll just object path. Let me scoot up. Hello. Join my paths. I'll delete my original, and then I have 2 of those. And you know, of course, you might think that. I mean, there's a fairly good chance that it pops out if you're rough with it. But the reason I'm not too worried about it is, it's not. I can't see a situation where you'd be applying a pressure or a torque right here that would cause a snap back here. If there was that situation, I can always just put another brace here. And then also, I haven't really thought about how much distance I'm going to put between these pieces and our scissor arm pieces. You know, this actually scared me, so I'm going to delete it. I'm sorry, Jack. Put it on screen. So I suppose the next thought would be how tall. Alright, so I'm just going to should probably also try to optimize this for printing. Alright, that's what I gotta do actually. Here. I don't know how to tell me if I'm intersecting. I mean, that looks like it's intersecting because it says intersect a lot. There we go. Here, you know what I'm going to do now? Because I have these general shapes, I'm just going to try to think about quantities and stuff. So let's take it to the whiteboard, I think. I think it's time for some whiteboard stuff. I have my computer, because these are basic entities, right? Like basic gearbox, basic scissor lift pieces. I suppose the lamp mount is another question. So here, let me show you my lamp. I turn it off because I'm using it for light. Wait, but if I'm using it, okay, I can't turn it off. This is my IKEA lamp. It screws on to this base plate. And if I unscrew this base plate, we have a threaded interior. And because I have a threaded interior, my plan is, if I have a strong enough scissor lift, I can just bolt this through the whole thing and just have a long bolt sitting through one of my arms at the top. Now, my concern is that this is a fairly long, it's not too heavy, but it'll be heavy for wood, especially in this setting. I don't know if the gearbox will be strong enough, because if you think about it, right, if I'm exerting a force down into, so this is where the forces will go through wherever it's placed. Let's just say it's here, the other leg is here, right? All the force is just going down into those points. So I don't think that it's just going to snap out, but it does bring up the point if I should lower those even more, just to guarantee that you won't snap out if you like hit the side. We'll have to see. Yeah. I think the main question right now is how high do I want to go? Which is something I should just think about, because honestly I don't feel like calculating it. Also, sorry. Ooh! You just got flashed by my lamp. Alright. So instead of doing any reasonable calculation and showing you my whiteboard, damn, it looks dark as hell in here without the lamp. Alright, lamp is here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Okay. What I'm going to do is just create a new document. How big should I go? I don't even know how big those little boards we have are. I think they're 2 feet by 2 feet, so I'll say 24 by 24 inches. And I'll copy our gearboxes. We need 2 of those. That does not have a circle in it. Did I do that? I did do that. That looks like it could be right. I'm just gonna copy this one. And just get. Oh god, what do I do? Oh god. I'll just copy this. So we got 2 of these. And if I really wanted to optimize them, I'd just make it in an intersecting line. But I don't want to. Material waste is good. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'll do that off camera. So for now, I'm not going to put them next to each other, but just imagine if I had that over here. So instead of just doing a scissor lift with, 2, I think, let's see, I think my best bet is to do 3, right? So I have 3 in one direction. That's on 3 that are on the outside, then the 1 in the middle, right? Because that gives me some more width. And if I add spacers like in between them as well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do these like little showy things. I should really just be doing 3D modeling, but I'm lazy, and it's 12:27. Okay, we're on schedule. Yeah. So adds thickness, makes my base stronger, and then I could probably mount the lamp to the side that only has 1 leg. Because I want to, and if not, I can do 4, right? Where I have 2 here on the outside and 2 internal, and then I don't alternate them, just so in the middle I have that extra stability. And adding thickness like that is going to add width to my base, which is once again going to support me. So I'm just going to copy a ton of these little spacers. I'm not really going to think about it. Wow, okay, I can really copy a ton of them. I was kind of joking, but with these sticks, I gotta be more conservative with it, I think. Just because I don't want to print so much stuff that, like, I feel bad. So how's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's think about this. Per level of whatever, the lift, I need 3 of those pieces. So how many levels do I want to go up on an 8-inch bar? So the logical way of doing this would be to do the math, because you have this is technically the base of your triangle if you really want to think about it that way, right? And then you have your lines here. And oh my god, I gotta group these. Your lines would be your arms, right? And they can tell you how high you are at each instance based on, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the math, okay? Do I want to do the math? I have to like make right triangles. Who the hell wants to make right triangles? Like, what point would I be going to? You know what? I take it back. I'm not going to do the math. I'm going to estimate, okay? Sounds reasonable to me. If I have an 8-inch dowel, or not even a dowel, if I have an 8-inch hinge piece and it's at an angle there, then you know it's not getting 8 inches up. Maybe it's getting 6, maybe it's getting 5. It depends on the setting, right? So I bargain that, let's just say it gets kind of closer to 6.5 to 7, the closest, right? What is my application? I want to have a lamp that I can have over my bed and look down. I mean, not like super high above, but at least not like on the floor that's like super shaky like it is right now, right? So that's probably good. 2 to 3 feet. 2 to 3 feet. 3 feet's 36 inches, so I should do 6 sets. That makes sense. So it would be 18 total pieces, and it would have 6 levels, 6 tiers. But I'm going to do 7 tiers just to be safe, because, you know, me just looking over there and telling you 3 feet isn't that promising. So let's count. 7, 3, so I need 20, 21, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's actually working out well. Just do it like that. 11. And then I'll take from this document the completed one and use that. Oh, I didn't copy the circles. I'm sorry. That's what I get for not grouping them. And use that as my 21st. Now, if I was really smart, what I'd do is I'd make extras. And I also want to try to reduce the amount of area that this takes on a board. So I guess I can calculate how many of these little circles I want as well. So let's say that I want to have a single space between. Okay, no, we got to think about this 2 ways. Okay, so if I don't want to have an exposed dowel, right, and I want it to just fit in that width of whatever the hell it is, right? Let's just say I'm using, this is probably going to be a 1/4 inch material. So if I have 3 arms, each of which with a spacer in between, that gives me 5, that gives me an inch 0.25. So that's how long my dowel would be. And I can just buy those dowels. But if I don't want the dowel to slide in there, I can put a dowel cap on both sides, which would just be one of these circles in the document, right? That just like, without, they're grouped, without the inner circle, right? So then I'd glue it around the edge, but then you can still freely rotate because you're not like bound by anything. So I can do that. But then on the internal ones, I need more. So let's think about this, right? If I need 2, man, I really am just like not that bright. All right, no, because you would need 3 for each of the outer pieces, right? Or at least for half of them, because if you have, where's my example pieces? If this is that, I think you can see that. I mean, the focus is definitely off here. We're focused back here. I'm on manual focus because the autofocus on this lens is really loud. So if this is here, right, and I want space in between them, I need 1, 2 per middle piece. But then I'd need 3 out here because I need 1, 2. Well, because there's like another intersection, right? Like these two would come back. So I'd need the 1, 2 when I meet them. But I think, no, I wouldn't need 3 because, no, I'd need 2. So it's 2 per hole on the inside. Yes. Now if I want to add extra width on the outside, it'll just add another 1 per hole. But those will all be flat capped. And then I don't need any for the bottom sets because that's going to be where my base is. Alright, so what did I just say? Let me like type this. Oh, I take it back. I'm just going to do it. So I said 2 per instance. So if we have 2 per, so if we have 21 pieces, and there's 3 holes on a piece, does that mean I need 63 of these? I mean, probably not, right, if you just think about it. But if you don't think about it, is there a patterning tool? I know there is. Oh, there is. I do remember it. Watch this. I am a teacher. I'll put 1 there. I'll put 1 there. And then I'm going to select them. I'm going to hit Object, Blend. See that? Now I have all those circles. But they're technically, if I go into my computer view, not circles. So now I have to take them, Object, and expand, which means that it sees what they visibly are and converts these back into not a line. And you'll see now they are indeed circles. I mean, I know the preview's a bit rough, but you know, that's mainly it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gives me 10. That is, I like that number. So how many did I say I needed? 60 something? 63 if I needed 2 per hole. I feel like that's not what I said. Hold up, let's think about this. 2 per internal side. There, 21 pieces, 3. 21 pieces, 3 holes. 63 times 2. There's no way it needs that many pieces. Actually, probably. This is going to be a lot of material. So what is this, 30? So 120 something pieces? Okay. You know, I could be mad about that. I just don't think it's productive, you know. Thankfully, Rye Country Day School provides me with plenty of opportunities to use materials like this. And I know this isn't a perfect grid, it doesn't really need to be, it's all going to be considered material waste anyways once it goes through the cutter. So that is the basis of my forklift. That right there. I've got 4 height settings, and I've got the basis of how it works. Now I need steel dowels, or not steel, I don't really care what they're made out of. Aluminum is probably best because they're cheap. Yeah. And then I guess the other thing I'd probably want here are going to be the caps. But the cap would be such a pain to install to the point where I just don't want to do it. And instead I'm going to try to think of a way to lock the dowel without rotating it. And you know what? It's 12:37. I've made my video. Done some simple design work, talking to myself, and I'm just gonna wrap it up. You know, we've got everything we need. I'll probably do some early fabrication when I'm back in school, post a little update. Hopefully I'll record me doing this, you know, and we'll have to see. It's too late for me to like seriously consider whether or not I want to put caps on the ends. Once again, those are just circles that are going to have a width of, or diameter of 0.75 inches, just so it just covers the dowel on both sides without like actually hindering its motion. No, I think it'll actually look nicer without them, because the metal dowel will. So what that means though is that, I don't know. It's like I gotta pick my battles, because if I make it a lower tolerance, right? If I make it so I have to force the dowel in there, it's not going to rotate as nicely, and it might be a bit of a pain to pull that up, which would be a pain. If I run with a looser route, I just don't want the dowel slipping out. So I do think a flat cap's probably going to end up being necessary. But regardless, have a good night, fellas. I don't even know what to like. What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to say something? Like, yeah. I mean, I already know who's going to be watching this. So, if you have any ideas, do you think I should put the caps there? Just tell me in real life, or comment it. Yeah, I'm gonna be a professional YouTuber. Comment and like all my videos. All right, I'm going to bed. See you guys. I'll edit this tomorrow.